Hi there, this is Yanis from the Arcweave team, continuing with this tutorial on the Arcweave plugin for the Unreal Engine. Let's now have a look at two ways we can connect the Unreal Editor with our Arcweave project and fetch our story data. The first way we can do this is by using Arcweave's Web API feature, only available to team accounts. The second way is by exporting our Arcweave project as a JSON file and then accessing it from the Unreal Editor. This second way is available to all Arcweave accounts, including the free ones. Let's see the Web API option first. If we go to one of the C++ classes of our project, for example the character class, in the header file, the .h file, we declare an override for the begin play native event of the Unreal Engine. This event gets triggered when the play begins, obviously. If we go to the C++ file of the character class, what we do in the begin play event, we get the Arcweave subsystem, and if it's valid, then we print the values of the API token and the project hash to the Unreal Engine's console. As we've said in the previous episode, these two values are set inside the project settings under plugins under Arcweave. Let's use two placeholders, the test1 and hash5. We will display these values on the begin play of our project. If everything is set up correctly, this will work. This is just to demonstrate. So when we press play, we get these two values printed to our console. Great! So if we now change these values, for example, let's change test to test 15 and I don't know, hash 59, when we press play, we will get the new ones. This is how we can properly get reference to Arcweave subsystem and Arcweave settings. Let's now have a look at our second option, which is available to free and pro accounts as well, and that is to export an Arcweave JSON file and drop it among the Unreal Engine project files. We go to Share and Export and choose Export, and then go to the Engine tab, and we pick Export for Unreal. This basically generates the Arcweave JSON, but it's going to be optimized to be used specifically in the Unreal Engine. So now we click Export and save our JSON file. Then we go to our Unreal project's root folder and create a new folder called Content and a subfolder called Arcweave Export. And this is where we must move our downloaded JSON file. Now we must go to our project settings under plugins and Arcweave and make sure we set the Unreal Editor to fetch data from the JSON file by ticking this checkbox that says Enable Receive Method from Local JSON. Now, the first time we do this, we will need to restart the Unreal Editor. This is necessary only the first time we switch to local JSON, but after that we can update our JSON file as many times as we want, again and again, without a problem. When we press play, we'll see that Unreal Engine now fetches the story data from our JSON file. Very important, when using a JSON file, we must manually set the Arcweave export folder, the one containing our JSON file, to be packaged along with the rest of the game assets. We do that in our project settings under Project, Packaging, and go to Additional Non-Asset Directories to package. We will now recreate our demo project in Arcweave and connect it with the Unreal Editor. Arcweave now has a new project templates menu. If we go to our Arcweave page, My Projects, We can click New Project, and this now gives us the options to start a project from scratch, recreate the familiar castle project as an example of interactive fiction, recreate the piece of cake as an example of interactive movie, and finally recreate this game engine example, which we're using in all our game engine integration tutorials like this one. This is the one we need right now, so let's click on it. When it finishes loading, we open the project, and we can see it's a small project with a few components. We have 3 characters. Drake is our PC, our player character, while Wanda and the healer are our 2 NPCs. And it also has one main board called Starting Board and 2 dialogue boards, one for the dialogue with Wanda and one for the one with the healer. And finally, it has some global variables. We can see the health of the healer, Wanda, and a boolean called have potion. And let's see how we can connect this project to our Unreal editor. We need to locate the project hash and the user's API key. So the hash is this part of the URL here. So we can copy that. And the API key, go to Arcweave, go to My Account. Down here is the API token. This is visible only to team account owners. And click Show API Token. And now you can just copy to clipboard. A very important note, you have to take the API key of the project's owner. So if you are only the editor of a project, you have to ask for the project's owner to generate an API key and distribute it to the rest of the team. Now this is what's going to happen. When we press play in the Unreal editor, this of course triggers the begin play event, and we create a widget called widget HUD. And if we open the widget's blueprint, after event construct, we bind the event of receiving a response from the Arcweave subsystem. To better understand what this means, let's go to this example's design. We see there is a fetch button, so when we press that, we send an API request to Arcweave, and when we get the response, we get the story data of our Arcweave project into our Unreal game. Just a side note here before we go on with the data, in the blueprint of the fetch button event, we see that we also pass the API token and the project hash as arguments, even though they are set in stone in the project settings. This is actually done intentionally in order for us to be able to dynamically change them from inside our packed project. We'll see how this happens in future episodes. So yes, when we press fetch, we fetch the Arcweave story data. These are in the form of a structure consisting of the text content of elements, the variables, boards, components, cover images, audio clips, and the name of the project itself, which is all the information we have in our Arcweave project: boards, global variables, assets, everything. So in this example, when we receive the data, these cards will display all the boards, components, and variables of our Arcweave project. This is just a simple example of how we can use such data in our game. Let's press play to see this in action. And here they are, all the project's Arcweave boards, We have Wanda dialog and healer dialog, as well as the root and the dialog folder, but you can filter those out if you want. We get the components, the characters, and the terrain, again including the root and the folders, and the three variables have potion, healer health, and Wanda health. Now the power of this is the ability to change values in the Arcweave project, and without recompiling, just fetching, the game updates with the new values. For example, if we change Wanda health to 45 in Arcweave, we can go to the Unreal game and press fetch, and as we can see, the value is refreshed. So this is how we connect our Unreal project to Arcweave. In the next episode, we'll see how we can pack and test this setup in the Windows environment. If you're finding these tutorials helpful, please subscribe to Arcweave's official YouTube channel. You can find us, the Arcweave team, hanging out on our Discord server, and of course you can follow Arcweave on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. I'm Yanis from Arcweave. Thank you for watching, and let the games begin.